If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is A Numbers Game with Gill Alexander on VSiN.
Good Monday morning to you. It is A Numbers Game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, the VSiN app, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV. It's all proudly brought to you by BetMGM. It's Gill Alexander. It's Kelley Bydlon. How you doing, man? You good?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Except, I let Matt Santos use my studio for one day, and everything's broken back here, Kill. I just want to call back. Probably wasn't even Santos' fault.
Very inside VSiN right there. Producer on producer
crime.
Mike
arms all wobbly back here.
Oh, man, what a morning. I miss football already. Let me just start there. Super Bowl 57, I think we can call that a classic. Chiefs 38, Eagles 35. We'll get into it play-by-play, guessing line style right here from the top. You'll forgive us because this is an annual tradition here on A Numbers Game where we come in Monday morning after the Super Bowl, just before vacation, and go through it all, not only next year's odds, but blow by blow from yesterday. What ended up, Kelley, being for me, and I didn't anticipate this at all, right? Like I didn't know it would play out this way. Ends up being my best Super Bowl betting-wise and the greatest in-game experience of my life. And I could not have told you that was going to happen. It's not like Ole Miss, right, and EGA and the Atlanta Braves and the NFL draft and all that where you plan it in advance. That's the beauty of the different kinds of betting.
Yeah, it definitely ended up a hot prop streak for me and then some in-game bets. I think it ended up being one of my better Super Bowls in a while, too. And just like you said, I mean, I didn't have a bet on the side pregame, right? It's just all getting in live. We'll go over all that stuff. But yeah, it was not something I was expecting yesterday. A small losing golf week, so that sure made me feel good after that Super Bowl last night.
Scotty Scheffler, which we have said on this show, you probably should have a piece of him in everything. Let us talk about the Super Bowl. Classic, for sure. And we'll talk about everything, including the call at the end that essentially sealed the deal for the Kansas City Chiefs. And let's begin, Kelley, without further ado. First of all, babyface soared over the total. 90 seconds was where I recommended the over on America the Beautiful. It closed at 109 at Wager on the internet. And he went 111. So congratulations to everybody who got it on babyface. Then,
that was easy. That was a nice, easy start for you. That wasn't even close.
Nice, easy peasy start. Now, Chris Stapleton, I did not have any action on the anthem, but he went under, correct? Did he go under, Chris Stapleton, on the anthem?
I didn't watch the anthem, I got to be honest.
Nick Sirianni, a faucet during the national anthem. Emotional. Man, does that man love this country.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the game. And then it was tails. Tails for everybody who bet on tails. Congratulations to you. Brent Musburger had tails.
I lost my $5 Caesars promotional bet on heads. Real shame.
Caesars with lots of trouble yesterday. App was down.
I think it's still down.
I think it's still down. For most of the game, they were just paying out people like late last night. 44 minutes after the top of the hour, they finally get this thing going. 6:44 Eastern, 3:44 Pacific. It's like, play the game already. We've waited long enough. The first Super Bowl, as it turned out, ever played on an ice skating rink. That's the first embarrassing thing about this game. It was just unbelievable. People slipping everywhere. We couldn't get this field together after the whole year where we knew it was slippery on this field. That certainly marred things. First thing happens. KC wins the coin toss and defers. And Kevin Burkhardt immediately goes into, oh, what an interesting decision that is. No, both of these teams have deferred all year. It's not interesting. And the reason he used is because, Philadelphia's the best team on the first drives of the season, and then it got corroborated because Philly went down and scored. When will folks in the mainstream media get that it is more important to manipulate the game end of first half, beginning of second half, than anything you could do at the beginning of a game? This drives me crazy. It's so surprising to them. Oh, my God, they deferred. Of course they deferred. By the way, touchback, as I said on this show many, many times the last 2 weeks, priced correctly. The stuff about the ball being heavier, it's overblown. 65% for both teams roughly to touchback all year, and that's, in fact, what happened. But Philadelphia opens the game, 11 plays, 75 yards, 4:51 off the clock. Hurts in from 7-0 Philly, but that after a Gainwell touchdown prop fake out, where it looked like Gainwell was in the end zone, and Kelley's 150-1 MVP ticket on Gainwell was on its way.
It was looking live, Gill. It was looking live.
He was 30-1 first touchdown. He was like plus 350 anytime touchdown. By the way, that swung the Jersey first touchdown from over 11.5 to under 11.5.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. How great is Super Bowl prop betting? It's Hurts, the first of his 3 7-0 Philly. By the way, we'll go through some commercials later, but that's when the J-Lo Affleck Dunkin' Donuts commercial happened. That was a pretty good one last night.
I was in that of commercials.
You'll have to forgive me with the commercials because it's the first time in 7 years I've been able to watch on my own. So I'm like so excited about commercials
I
again.
had that thought too, Gil, but still, even by the time like the second quarter
Oh,
hit,
I stopped watching.
I was still like,
yeah.
I got a second TV over here with nothing on it. Let me put something on it because I can't stand commercials.
I just read an article about like the best commercials. I missed 5 of them.
Okay.
Like I apparently I wasn't paying attention enough. Casey gets the ball back. First time now. Not the ball back, but the first time they have it. 6 plays, 75 yards themselves. That took 312. Mahomes to Kelley for 18 touchdown. We are tied. Still early first quarter. And I'm thinking my Kelley 2+ touchdowns thing is going to just easy peasy.
Oh, man, we're going to cash these Kelley props in the first quarter, it looks like. No sweat on those, Gil.
Not so much. Philadelphia, 3 and out. Remember that because that didn't happen again for a long time. 3 plays, 4 yards. Bradley Cooper and the mom commercials began. KC, 2nd and 10. Now on the subsequent drive, 7-7 game. 2nd and 10, the Philadelphia 31. Smith, Schuster, and Kelley. This was the acting play where they were acting like they couldn't hear the snap, no play. You know, hey, where's the play? What's the play call? I don't even know what it is. They gained 7. Mahomes to McKinnon. 2 plays later, though, 4th and 3 at the Philadelphia 24. 4th and 3 at the Philadelphia 24. Andy Reid elects to kick the field goal. Were you surprised by that choice?
No.
I was not either. Butker doinks the 42-yard field goal try. Props cash.
Mm-hmm.
How much did the doink pay? Do we know?
Ooh, I don't know.
I got to check on that.
Yeah.
But that
over
was
4-1. I'm here.
Oh yeah. Sylvester Stallone face commercials. Serena Canelo Romo Michelob Ultra commercials. I got to stop with the commercials. All right, it's a 7-7 game. We go into the second quarter. Philly with the ball now. After that doink, 3rd down. Clark called for offsides when it appeared that Philly's right guard clearly rocked. That was towards the end of the first quarter. That was the last play of the first quarter, I believe, or towards the end. Second quarter, first play, Hurts to Brown, 45 yards, touchdown Eagles, 14-7 Philly as part of a 5-play, 68-yard drive. 2:32 is how long that drive took. Then Casey gets it back, down 14-7, a 3 and out. Now file this away on 3rd down. Juju Smith-Schuster completely interfered with by Bradbury on 3rd down. Do you remember that when he spun him? And Greg Olsen is like, wow, I can't believe they didn't call that.
Yep.
File that away. Philadelphia gets the ball back. 3rd and 1 at the KC 47. 10-12 left, second quarter. Officials call a false start on Philly only after KC goes crazy about it. That was the thing. The players kept calling it for the refs.
Thank you.
It was like, this is like a playground game where it's like, no, you have to call that.
I didn't want to necessarily push back on the one where you talked about the guard flinching because he did. He did,
but okay.
But you're right. On both of those plays, it's just the other team yelling and pointing about it that seemingly led to the call on each one.
So if KC doesn't go crazy about the false start, they probably never call this. They end up calling it because KC's having a conniption.
Mm-hmm.
And so how big did that become? Because on the next play, Hurts fumbles, recovered by Nick Bolton.
Insane.
36 yards to the house, and we are tied at 14. The first Eagles turnover of the postseason. How huge did that play turn out to be?
It was huge. Also, is it just my imagination, or do I feel like we've seen that like 4 times this year in the NFL? And you're like, how do professional football players just drop a football like that? It's like amazing how it just slips out of these guys' hands. Well, it was so cold and icy on the field.
Well, it was a skating rink.
That's right.
Then Philadelphia, 14-14 game. Lane Johnson false starting on 1st and 10 on the KC-49. Olsen even points it out. No call. Yeah, Lane Johnson.
By the way, Olsen continues to grow on me. He was one of those guys that I really didn't think was all that great like a year ago. He continues to grow on me. I love that he went through that entire Lane Johnson process.
Wait a minute, but he let me correct myself. He actually then went into the whole, he just times it so well thing.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm just like, okay, Greg, let's stop with the times it well thing.
Well, I like that he's explaining that to the audience.
I do.
At least whether you think he's jumping or not, he's going through what it's like for an offensive lineman all the way on the end.
I like that he has opinions. Let's put it that way. 4th and 5 for the Eagles at the KC-44. Hurts for 28. 4 plays later, 4th and 2 at the KC-6. Eagles offensive linemen get the refs to call offsides on Derek Nadi. He was totally offsides, by the way.
That one, his like helmet was like in Kelsey's crotch. But it was like,
again, it was
how far over are you going to get, man?
But again, it was the team telling the refs to call it. Like, hey!
That was one of those, though. He lined up.
He did.
He was
up. Offside.
His helmet's over the ball, staring down at it. Then he jumps.
It's as if the ball's not 3 feet away from him. Next play, Hurtson from 4 out, 21-14 Eagles. KC starts their own 25 with 2:20 left in the second quarter, down 21-14. 5 and out. Mahomes looks to be in serious pain after a 3rd down tackle by T.J. Edwards. Uh-oh.
Yeah, this was just after I had put in a couple live bets on the Chiefs.
Jack Harlow, Triangle Doritos commercial. And then Philadelphia starts with 1:22 on the clock and all 3 timeouts. 2nd and 1 at the KC-48 with 1 minute left in the half. They're up 7. Hurts, deep ball, right sideline. Initially ruled a catch to Devontae. Reversed to incomplete. Did you think it was going to get reversed?
No.
They have to settle for an Elliott 35-yard field goal. 24-14 going into the half. Somehow only up 10 after that field goal. And while it felt like the Eagles were blowing them out, and they did, we'll tell you about the first half stats in a minute, the Kansas City Chiefs were getting the ball next. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network. Coming back.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
It's time to download Nevada's premier sports betting app, BetMGM Sports. BetMGM with all your favorite wagering options, along with in-game betting, boosted odds specials, and much more. Download the BetMGM app today and stop by any MGM casino on the Strip with your state-issued ID to open an account and start placing sports bets from anywhere in Nevada. Whatever your sport, whatever your betting style, you're going to love BetMGM. State-of-the-art technology and fan-friendly specials every day of the week. Visit BetMGM for terms and conditions. Must be 21 or older and physically located in Nevada. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. It's Gill Alexander. It's Kelley Bydlon, the annual tradition of the Monday morning after the Super Bowl edition of a numbers game. So we went through the first half, and Philly just dominated. And to what tune did they dominate? I'm glad you asked. This is just, first of all, Jalen Hurts, 17 of 22 at the half for 246 yards, 3 total touchdowns, more passing yards, rushing yards, and touchdowns than the Chiefs. First downs, Eagles 17, Chiefs 6. Total yards, Eagles 270, Chiefs 128. And then the time of possession, first half. Time of possession, 21:54 to 8:06.
It was incredible. It was we're going to get into the second half, but it was a masterclass performance by the Eagles in the first half, I thought. Look, the first live bet I made on the Chiefs was after a couple of the Eagles' drives. When we talked about it yesterday on our preview show, where I didn't see Jalen Hurts take a long ball attempt, right? Until that touchdown to A.J. Brown, he didn't really go deep, or I think he did one, but was very inaccurate with it.
He was heaving it.
So a lot of the stuff was crossing routes and stuff like that. So that was the first time I was like, all right, maybe this Hurts shoulder thing's real. That was the first time I got in on Kansas City. Was totally wrong. Jalen Hurts had a absolutely phenomenal game. Him afterward, too, I thought he handled it with complete class. The maturity that he has is incredible. Tip of the cap to Jalen Hurts.
Listen, all the Eagles, Nick Sirianni, Bradbury himself, all of them handled it with class after the game.
Yeah, you're right.
And we'll get to that. I made a second half bet on KC -3 right when the second half started. I bet them in-game +7. I added to those. We'll get to other little in-game prop bets I made. But that was the story. But it was only a 10-point lead. Despite that statistical domination, only a 10-point lead. And then we must say for halftime, we knew by Friday that the Rihanna bet was a loser because it leaked that Rihanna's first song after a recorded What's My Name, you know that one, Kelley, with Drake, square root of 69 is a sign. Little recording of that. Then she starts, and it was all worded, what's her first recorded vocals? How about the choice to go with, B better have my money? Really? That's what they came up with to start? We knew this by Friday, but it's like, that was your choice?
Yeah, that was a little interesting.
Her last song was Diamonds, which was also an interesting, weird song to end on. But bigger,
I think that one had to do with the not the choreography, right? But the stage rising, which Gill and I were both very uncomfortable with.
This is the biggest story of the halftime is Rihanna elevated so high right after having a baby, mind you, by the way, where she got a child and maybe she should worry about her life in a way that she shouldn't have before. She couldn't have cared less. She was like, this is cool. I would have died up there.
Yes.
At first, I thought it was CGI, and I'm like, no, that thing's moving.
So you first texted me about it when she came down, and I was with you then. I was like, yeah, that's not something I would be doing. And then she got down on the ground level, and I'm like, okay, like that's it.
Yeah.
So when she went back up, I'm like, what are we doing here?
We're gonna have to delay the game 30 minutes to rescue Rihanna.
That's what I texted you. Can you imagine if she got stuck? We had to delay the Super Bowl to get Rihanna down.
We have a situation. It was amazing, though. That was Patrick Claymont, by the way, on Twitter. Rihanna on a platform hundreds of feet in the air might have been the most stable footing anyone had tonight. What a great tweet.
Best tweet I saw.
Best tweet of the night. So true. All right, second half. Chiefs get the ball first. And again, Kevin Burkhardt, I love you, but this is why teams defer, man. This is why. Casey, 10 plays, 75. Casey was unstoppable in the second half. 10 plays, 75 yards, took 530. Pacheco in from 1 out, and all of a sudden it's a 3-point game, 24-21. You don't think Andy Reid was making adjustments? Andy Reid, I don't know if it was at halftime or before halftime, whatever. Wow. This was a tour de force from Andy Reid, now a 2-time Super Bowl champion coach. Philly gets the ball back. First play. Miles Sanders catches a Hurts pass. He turns. He's hit by L'Jarius Sneed. Fumble on the field, recovered by Nick Bolton, returned to the house. Is it a touchdown? Is it Nick Bolton's second touchdown of the game? Whew. Are we going to have to give him the MVP? But ruled correctly incomplete.
So people want to talk. We'll get to the call at the end, obviously. But that one, so Gill, if that happens in the end zone, are we touchdown?
Yes.
We were a touchdown.
Well, no, we're not. It's the same thing.
It's
the same
honestly,
thing.
I've got no idea what
No,
he catches.
it's the same thing. There was not a football motion.
And then we're talking about like a third foot. Well, it's okay. He turned up field.
He turned, but he didn't move.
Third step.
No, he turned, but you have to make a foot. I mean, that to me, and I've got the Chiefs now. Not for 1 second did I believe that was.
That was one of those that real time. It looks crystal clear, like it's incomplete. But you start slowing it down, and I'm like, all right, yes.
No, that was incomplete. Eventually, 3rd and 14 at the KC 47. Hurts to Goddard, ruled complete on the field, followed by the officials clarifying a substitution rule. That allowed KC to challenge it, and it was upheld. Were you surprised that it was upheld?
Yeah, I was.
You can bet on replays offshore, and people seem to get that. Like, the first wave was people thinking it was going to get overturned, and then it quickly bounced back to people who were saying it was upheld, and they were right.
Yeah, I thought, at least on the first couple looks, I thought it was definitely going to get overturned. Once they kind of were breaking it down more, I could see it, but
we got to get through this. 2 plays later, 3rd and 1, pitch to Sanders, no gain. And then the 4th and 1, the Tuchus push converts again. By the way, we got to outlaw the Tuchus push. where you can put all your players behind and just push?
Run it every play until they don't.
I'm serious. Some team is going to just say, well, let's do the tuchus push every single down, and we'll just matriculate down the field that
if you're
way.
the Saints, why isn't your whole offense is coming
That
in?
should be the Saints'
Taysom
entire
Hill,
offense.
build out that interior offensive line, Taysom Hill and 2 big running backs behind him just pushing.
By the way, shout out Todd Wishnet for the tuchus push coining. Next play, the only sack of the game for either team, a technical one because Hurts loses a yard, sacked by Kalen Saunders. They eventually have to settle for a 33-yard Jake Elliott field goal, 27-21 Philly. Casey gets the ball back, again unstoppable. 9 plays, 75 yards, 441. Mahomes to Tony from 5 out. No one within a country mile of him. 28-27. The Chiefs have their first lead of the game. We're in the fourth quarter.
Let's go.
Then Philly, 3 and out. When was the last time that happened?
Yeah.
Tony, 6, and then here comes the punt. The punt from Aaron Sipas, who was activated for this game. Tony looks like he catches it sort of as a ground ball, regains his balance, and goes 65 yards, the longest punt return in Super Bowl history. And the Chiefs are set up, and if you're a Chiefs backer, you're going ballistic. 3 plays later, Mahomes to Shea Moore from 4 out, 35-27 again. Shea Moore on the other side of the field, wide open beyond belief. Chiefs by 8, but Philly's not going to die. Philly's not going to die. I'm sorry.
Sky Moore?
Oh, what did I say? Shea. Oh, Sky Moore. Pardon me. What did I say?
You got SGA on the mind.
Typo on the thing here. Philly, 8 plays, 75 yards, 407. They're down 8. They don't care. Hurts to Devontae Smith for 45 on 1st and 10 at the KC 47. Next play, Hurts in from 1 out on the tuchus push, 35-33. And then on the 2-point conversion, I was shocked that they went into shotgun formation. I was like, why aren't they doing another tuchus push?
Yeah.
Nope, but he still got in. 35-35, 5:15 left. How about that Tubi commercial that started in where everybody thought their TVs went out? Do you remember that? It's like, what happened to my TV? Why am I on an app? Casey gets the ball now. 1st and 10 at the Philly 43. 2:55 left. The big run of the game. Mahomes for 26. Never seen him run faster in my life. His 5th longest carry of his career. It ends up 2nd and 8 at the Philly 15 with 2 minutes left. 35-35. Then 3rd and 8 at the 15 with 1:54 left. The play that everybody's going to be talking about. James Bradbury grabs Smith-Schuster with one hand, pulls, grabbed him a little with the second hand. But you saw the jersey move. It gets flagged. Olsen disagrees on the broadcast. What's our referee guy? What's our man? Mike Pereira thinks it is a penalty. They have a disagreement. And with 1 timeout left for Philly and a new set of downs for Casey, the game is effectively over. Because the next play, McKinnon goes 9 yards and smartly slides down at the 2. Mahomes then does his kneel down thing where he goes back 5 yards, then another 2.
I had to check where his yardage was at.
It's like, are we going to do this again,
I had to
Patrick
pull
Mahomes?
the box score. I'm
Me
like, how many
too.
yards does he have right now? I got to
too.
check this.
Me
Like, okay,
too.
he's safe. He's going to be safe.
And then with 11 seconds left, Butker kicks the 27-yard chip shot, 38-35, 8 seconds left. Philly gets the ball at their own 36 with 4 seconds left. You think a pitchy woo-woo is coming. Instead, it's just Hurts heaving it to no one, incomplete. Ball game, Chiefs, Super Bowl champions. 38-35, their 2nd title in 4 years. And the Eagles, a valiant effort. A valiant effort. If these teams play 10 times, what is it? 5-5, 6-4?
6'4".
Yeah. Yeah.
6'4", I don't know which way.
Give him credit in defeat, but not enough. Or what is going to be, I mean, again, if he retires today, which he's not, Patrick Mahomes walks right into the Hall of Fame. So much more to say beyond the play-by-play. We'll get to it all after the break. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If you're looking for a betting edge on the NHL, NBA, or college basketball, the VSiN experts have got you covered. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber with an introductory offer of only $9.99. VSiN Pro subscribers get access to our daily recap of the top plays made by VSiN show hosts and guests. Tools like our betting splits, deep dive betting reports, VSiN betting guides for the biggest games of the season, where experts break down brackets, best bets, and daily props. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Visit VSiN.com/subscribe today to sign up for only $9.99. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. By the way, a couple corrections. One, I sold around a short. You told me she is pregnant again.
She is pregnant again.
So that's even more amazing. And then apparently there's a red-pink controversy happening. with her because there was lipstick shade props and all kinds of things. Apparently on screen it looks pink, but in real life everything was red.
Her lipstick or her
eyeshadow? I don't know. It was a whole thing.
I thought she was red all over.
You know Gina RX Gambler? She had like a whole 25-1 prop on pink, and I'm not sure she's cashing now on this. It
really looks red to me.
That looks red to you? It looks pink to me. Anyway, it's a whole thing.
It looks red to me. I don't know. It looks red.
By the way, didn't she have a kid like a minute ago? That was the other thing.
Yeah, last May.
All right. Mahomes ends up 21 of 27 for 182, 3 touchdowns, no picks, no sacks, 6 carries for 44 yards. He was 13 of 14 with 2 touchdown passes in the second half. Let me repeat that. 13 of 14 in the second half, and the only one that was incomplete was a throwaway. Third quarterback to win 2 Super Bowl MVPs and 2 NFL MVPs. The other 2, Brady and Montana. He's the first to do so in his first 6 seasons. He's the 4th quarterback to win 2+ NFL MVPs and 2+ Super Bowls. Brady, Montana, and Peyton Manning the others. He's the 6th with 2+ Super Bowl MVPs. Brady, Montana, Eli Manning, Bradshaw, and Bart Starr the others. Casey, 3 touchdowns and a field goal on 4 second-half possessions. 0 sacks allowed against the vaunted Eagles defense that led the NFL in sacks this season. Not only did they lead the NFL in sacks this season, they're the 3rd most of all time behind the 85 and 86 Bears. And they were confused as all get out in the second half as well.
Andy Reid called an incredible game, and he has the best person on the planet to operate it with Patrick Mahomes.
We did a special numbers game. Everybody did a special show yesterday here on the network, up and down our lineup. And I'm so glad when Adam Burke was on that I said to him, I go, one of the notions that I want to push back on is this narrative that we've heard for 2 weeks that Mahomes is the best player on the field and the Eagles are better at everything else. And I said to him specifically yesterday, Kelley, not on the offensive line, they're not. Like the Chiefs' offensive line is getting sold short on this. And the Eagles' offensive line took that personally for 2 weeks. Didn't let anybody do a thing in the backfield. Mahomes was untouched. Hassan Reddick, nada.
Nothing.
Field Yates.
Yeah, they took him out of the game.
Through 5 seasons as a starter. Patrick Mahomes now has, and here's the list, 2 Super Bowl wins, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 NFL MVPs, 3 Super Bowl appearances, 5 AFC championship games in a row, 5 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pros, NFL Offensive Player of the Year, 12+ wins in every season. Is that good?
Ain't bad.
Kansas City had 8 straight wins now. That's their 8th straight win when trailing entering the 4th quarter. That's the longest streak in NFL history. How unbelievable is that?
Yeah, that is wild.
7 was already the record. Hurts ends up 27 of 38 for Philly for 304, 1 touchdown, no picks, sacked twice, 15 carries for 70 yards, 3 touchdowns. That crucial fumble loss that was returned to the house by Nick Bolton. 3 rushing touchdowns, tied for the most in a Super Bowl with Terrell Davis back in Super Bowl 32. Devontae, 7 for 100. A.J. Brown, 6 for 96 and a touchdown. The Eagles scored the most points of any Super Bowl loser ever. And they converted 13 combined 3rd and 4th downs.
Yes.
The most in Super Bowl history. The Chiefs could not get them off the field.
11 for 18 on 3rd, 2 for 2 on 4th. I'm looking at their team stats right now. It's like it's one of those box scores you just look at and you're like, how did this team lose a game?
Andy Reid, with his 2nd Super Bowl title as a head coach with the Chiefs. Remember, he went to a 3rd with Philly, but he's won 2 now. The list of Super Bowl coaches, Super Bowl winning coaches, Belichick with 6, Chuck Noll of the Steelers with 4, Joe Gibbs and Bill Walsh with 3 apiece. Walsh could have probably won more if he stuck around. Gibbs the most impressive with 3 different quarterbacks, and none of whom even sniffed the Hall of Fame. Sorry, Joe T., I still love you. Chad Henne retired yesterday after the game. Eric Bieniemy still can't get a job, it should be pointed out. And let's just talk for a second about the Eagles.
We'll see this week, right?
We'll see this week. Yeah. But let's just talk
for the Eagles coordinators link too.
We said this for years about Eric Bieniemy. He must not interview well, or people just say, well, it's Andy Reid's offense and it's Patrick Mahomes, so yeah. By the way, I've told this story before. His brother installed my cable here in Las Vegas. Nicest guy ever. I'd hire him. I'd hire him as my NFL head coach if I were a GM. That's what I would do. So a couple words about the Chiefs and the Eagles, just moving forward. The Chiefs, which we'll get to momentarily, the short shot to win the Super Bowl next year, and rightfully so. And this is one of those situations where they are set up beautifully. This was not a Rams last year where they sold out to win one Super Bowl, getting rid of picks, getting, big free agent names. We did it. We sold out. We got it. And then we're going to suck. And they did. The Chiefs have 11 picks in this year's draft. 11.
I mean, they did this. They won a Super Bowl the year after they traded Tyreek Hill.
That's the biggest point. Not only that, and I'm going to raise my hand because when I'm ridiculous, I'm ridiculous too. Remember their first 7 games when we looked over the schedule and I'm like, oh my God, that's a gauntlet.
Yep.
If you gave the Chiefs, I think I said 4-3. I said if you gave the Chiefs 4-3 right now, they would take it in a heartbeat. Man, they didn't care about any of that.
Nope.
No Tyreek. No Tyreek. Dude, they won a Super Bowl with Sky Moore scoring a touchdown, Kadarius Toney scoring a touchdown and having a monster punt return. He wasn't even on the team. By the way, way to go, Giants. Great trade.
Yeah.
Idiots. And they won it with Isaiah Pacheco out of the backfield. Like, this is incredible what they did.
I think their backfield is good. I think they're set up nicely. Like, Pacheco, McKinnon are awesome.
But this is the greatness of Mahomes.
No, it is. I mean, Gill, I'm sitting there watching the whole game, watching Mahomes be ridiculous, and outside of Kelley, I'm still sitting there thinking, man, imagine if this team had a real wide receiver to go to. I mean, like, Juju didn't show up till, the third quarter, right? Like, that's still a thing, a position they will add to likely this offseason.
Oh, and one more thing, because I didn't really emphasize it enough. He did this on a bum high ankle sprain.
Oh, yeah, that too.
That too. And then there's the Eagles. And Eagles fans, I know a lot of Eagles fans were like, hey, man, you didn't give him any credit for 2 weeks. No, I did. I just worried about the fact that the best team they had beaten was the Lions, and they hadn't really faced a quarterback. The Eagles were valiant. And by the way, let's just say this again, and let's run the Nick Sirianni audio. No team has ever taken a Super Bowl loss with more class than these Eagles. Bradbury said, and we'll get to the call at the end. Bradbury said, I held him. I tugged. I held him. He admitted it. So I'm not sure what there is to debate. We can debate, listen, on the one hand, it does suck that a game that good ended on that effectively.
Totally. We can all
let me just finish the
agree
point.
with that.
On the one hand, yes. But you got to hold the second thought in your head, too, which is you can't say it's a bad call. Could it have not been called? Yes. But we all know that in the NFL, sometimes that gets called. Yep. Sometimes it doesn't.
And it's one of those, Gil, like we talk about this kind of reverse where we talk about, look, betting-wise, think about this. Any other game on a regular Sunday, would you bet it, right?
Yeah.
Same kind of thing with that kind of call. Yeah, right. That is, how many times we've seen stuff like that or less called every single Sunday in the NFL.
And I pointed out earlier in the game when Bradbury held Juju, and even Greg Olsen was like, I can't believe they didn't call that, and it was a 3rd and out. That kind of thing gets purged from people's brains because it happened in the first half. You're like, the Eagles dominated them. Well, we don't know what would have happened if that gets called there, right? We don't. Nick Sirianni puts it in great context right here.
It's not my job to, you'll see me on the sideline. I'm going to argue with different things of calls here and there, but it's not my job to make the call. Those guys got to do that in split second, scenarios. And so, that's what he saw, and he called it. And so that's never – I know it always appears to be that, it's one call that makes the game. It's not what it is, right? It's not what it is. There's so many plays that contribute to the end result of the game, and today they were better than we were.
Good for him and good for the Eagles.
Right.
You can't respect that enough.
Him, Bradbury?
Yes.
Like, who says these things after just getting your heart torn out? Like, and good on them.
And again, the whole thing, well, you can't let a game of that magnitude be decided like that. I'm sorry, like that is I just don't accept that rationale. It just Will Hill and I, and to some extent Philippe, but it was more Will Hill and I, we joke about this. Brock Osweiler was doing I think it was the Florida State game, and there was a call made at the end of the game, or was made, I can't remember. He's like, you can't call that in a rivalry game, right? So we joke how brain dead that is. Like the point I was, you going to Starbucks? I was like, well, you got to. It's a rivalry game. It's just it's such a brain dead logic, right? And so, does it suck that a classic like that ends with that? Yes. But on the other hand, was it the wrong call? No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
The other thing is it's the Super Bowl. Obviously, we're going to pick apart at everything. But everybody acts like this is, it's not going to change overnight either. Like, get used to this happening the next football game you watch and the next football game you watch.
Got more to say about the Eagles here, and we'll look at next year's Super Bowl odds with the Chiefs as the short shot. If you had to make one bet, what would you make? It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Attention, BetMGM customers. Have a friend who loves sports as much as you do? Well, here's a chance for both of you to earn a $50 bonus when you sign up through BetMGM's Refer a Friend program. Just sign into your BetMGM account and click on the Refer a Friend program to send your friend a message inviting them to register a new account in the same state that you use BetMGM in. Once your friend signs up and makes a deposit, they'll receive a $50 bonus. And once your friend places a bet with their bonus and the wager's settled, you'll receive a $50 bonus as well. Share the excitement at BetMGM and get a $50 bonus. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years of age or older to wager. All promotions subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire in 30 days. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Promotional offer not available in Mississippi and Nevada. It's Gill Alexander. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Always appreciate it. This is from WCGR. Doink was plus 450-ish. At Barstool, he says he got it there. Scott, New York Mets 16. Gil, do you think the slick field had something to do with the line drive punt, especially after Eagles place kicker slipped on the kickoff? Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
It did appear to be a little awkward follow through. Dukes in the PNW field. Hey, what's happening? Field conditions worse at Soldier Field this year or Super Bowl 57? Absolutely embarrassing. I agree. Murphy, 12-800. Gil, that last holding call was perfect. It was exactly what we've seen all season. Inconsistent calls. I believe the replay guys are worse than the officials on the field. How can it take 5 minutes and 30 seconds, or 30 angles rather, in slow motion? What happened to indisputable evidence? I guess we were bouncing around a couple things there. Let's see here. Jeff Staples with the Sirianni with the Sirianni picture. Me while chopping onions for my Super Bowl party nachos. Bruce Dobigan. Rihanna apparently pregnant again. Lucky Biden didn't shoot her down up that high, he said. Hey, that's not nice. But at least Biden got told. That's my response. Let's see here. This is Alan Mitchell. FYI, Iga French, KC 2024 parlay plus 1160. He's already made that. Cross-sport parlay. Let's see. Sean Gusick, in case
2024, man, yeah. That's one for the account.
I think he meant next year. In case you didn't know, Gil, Sean Gusick, we are 206 days away from NFL Survivor. It's a great call. Can't wait. Cannot wait for that. Jesse Welch, Gil's excitement over these commercials parallels my kids with their video games. I got texted this. Gil excited about the commercials was like listening to someone who just got out after serving a long prison sentence.
That's a good one.
Phil Weiss, who never has anything good to say, he says, if the teams were reverse, Gil, they'd hear you crying about the call on the moon. No, they wouldn't. They really wouldn't.
I don't think so.
Wouldn't. No, I'd say the same thing, which is the same thing. It sucks that a classic like that ended like that, but that gets called all the time. And
we were on the Bengals 2 weeks ago. Like that late hit out of bounds, we weren't sitting here complaining about.
I wasn't complaining about the Bengals.
We might have been complaining about the hold on the other side, but
we were talking about the redo of the play. They botched that game. Think about that on both championship games. And we'll get to more tweets here later. But think about that in the championship games. The Bengals probably end up winning that if that game continues. Obviously, they still only play 4 quarters, right? But they got the worst of it on the refs. And then San Francisco with the Brock Purdy injury. Like, if I said to you, Cincinnati and San Francisco could have just as easily been in this Super Bowl. Like, that's not an outlandish remark.
Totally.
It just isn't.
No, totally. I
Those are the 4 best teams in football.
I look at it as my pregame NFL betting ended on the divisional round. I really, everything. Super Bowl's different. We play some props, but sometimes we wouldn't play regularly. And we'll get to all that. But that was when our big betting ended. Everything since then, we addressed that right after the divisional week. The 4 teams remaining, we thought any one of the 4 could win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were good. They were all good. Really good.
Yeah. And then, yesterday also my in-game bets, when it was 27-21 Philly and the Chiefs had the ball, I was betting Chiefs to get to 30 first at north of $3 twice and just south of $3 twice. I just had the feeling it was happening. Those were beautiful bets as well. I talked about how the Chiefs are so set up. Patrick Mahomes now has won 2 Super Bowls. Who knows now? As great as they're set up with 11 draft picks in this upcoming NFL draft. And then there's the Eagles. And this gets back, Kelley, to what have I said on this show for years? You only win a Super Bowl with a Hall of Famer or a quarterback on a rookie deal. Or in the case of the Chiefs, you did it with both. Back when Patrick Mahomes' first title. So this was Jalen Hurts on a rookie deal. And he's got one more year left before they're forced to re-sign him. But here's the deal. They've already said they're going to sign him to an extension before that. So
does he have only one more year, or does he have one more year because he wasn't a first-round pick? I don't even know. I'll have to look that up.
Well, they've said they're going to sign him to the extension. So here's the deal. And once you do that, right, and it's going to be what? What's the going rate now? $50 million a year? $40-50 million a year? Whatever it is. This is when this is the cruelest thing in the NFL, right? It's the cruelest thing. By the way, Jalen Hurts has been awesome. People killed the Eagles for drafting him when they did in the second round, an overdraft, and he's turned out to be everything they could have possibly hoped for. So you got to pay him the money because that's how the NFL works. You're not going to not pay Jalen Hurts. He's been awesome.
Yeah.
But this is when it starts, right? This is the cruelty of the NFL, where the window now is on a timer. Because eventually, when you sign a quarterback to that kind of deal, you're going to eventually lose offensive linemen and defensive players and receivers, right? It's going to be a trickle out. And so they're not in the same position as the Chiefs, who are set up so beautifully.
You're talking about that quarterback money. You know what his deal is right now?
Yeah.
4 years, $6 million. That's it.
A pittance.
That's what Jalen Hurts is playing under right now.
He's playing for a pittance. Get that money, Jalen. Anyway, here's for the NFC. Odds to win next year. Niners, the short shot, plus 350. And the Niners are going into training camp with Brock Purdy, hopefully available to them. But certainly Trey Lance. Jimmy G is gone. Under no circumstances will he be there. That according to Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, we'll get to MVP odds here in a bit. There's some surprises on there.
So Niners plus 350. Eagles 4-1, Cowboys 6-1, and everybody else in the NFC is double digits because the NFC is just a meh conference. I would agree with those that the Niners and the Eagles are the cream of the crop.
Yes, without a doubt.
By the way, the Cowboys there, I asked my Cowboy fan friend, he's like, I just worry now Hurts has the trajectory of Dak as the players leave. That's my Cowboys fan friend saying that. AFC, by the way, do we have the AFC?
Do you think that?
No, I don't. Because I think
so.
I think Jalen Hurts is better than
Me
Dak.
too.
And he's multidimensional as well.
Yeah.
AFC odds, Chiefs plus 330, Bills 4-1, Bengals plus 550, Chargers 11-1. And just think about those quarterbacks in the AFC. Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Herbert. And then will Lamar Jackson come back to the Ravens?
Get out of there, Lamar. Get out of there.
Get out, Lamar.
And Rodgers, don't go to the Jets. What are you doing?
Well, Jets are down to 14-1 because of the anticipation of Aaron Rodgers. What about for the Super Bowl, for the whole kit and caboodle for the Super Bowl? The Chiefs are the short shot, 6-1. Bills 7-1. Niners, the short shot of NFC teams at 8-1, followed by the Bengals and the Eagles at 9-1. Everybody else double digits. The Cowboys, the only one of the double digits, south of 20-1. If I said to you, Kelley Bydlon, you must make a wager today, who's the team you're betting on?
Bengals.
For me, it's the Bengals at 9-1. Or are you ready for this? You know my second choices? The Chiefs at 6-1. That's the only other thing I would come up with. But I think the Bengals at 9-1 to me is the best bet on that board.
Can we agree they're 1-2 for us heading into next season?
I agree.
No matter, right? Like
yes.
it's that. So, and we could talk about odds, but I think regardless, it's 1-2. If I actually had to make a bet today, right, like it would probably be longer odds somewhere down the board. But that is Chiefs, Bengals 1-2 heading into next season.
I think I would make the Bengals at 9-1 the bet. The Niners' problem is you don't know what's happening at quarterback.
I don't really know how you make the Niners and Bills shorter than the Bengals.
I don't either.
Like that is a little odd to me.
I have no idea how you make them shorter. And now here are the odds to win the MVP for next season. Mahomes and Burrow, co-short shots at plus 650. Josh Allen is 8-1. Let me look down this list.
I gotta pull up some of the other. Okay, so
all right, what do you got? What are we going to say about this?
Just missed out. The very next name, not on this graphic, at 25-1, Brock Purdy.
Oh, stop it!
I swear to God, to win the MVP next year, Brock Purdy is 25-1 right now.
Listen, I had a Rookie of the Year on him, and I love the story, but come on.
Yeah. Let me keep cruising.
Please.
Deshaun Watson, 28-1. I think that graphics everybody we'd expect, right?
Think about that Browns team and how much they paid Deshaun Watson, how excited they were to get Deshaun Watson. Bruh, you're in a conference with Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Justin Herbert, and maybe still Lamar Jackson, and maybe Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Good for you, Browns.
Justin Fields, 30-1.
Stop it.
He's next.
Stop
to
it.
win MVP.
Well, remember, he got an MVP vote this year.
Actually, what am I talking about?
What are you
Maybe
talking
I'm the
about?
crazy one.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, 35-1. Back to the NFC West for two more quarterbacks. Geno Smith, 35-1. And Trey Lance, 35-1. So you have Brock Purdy, 25-1. And Trey Lance, 35.
Do you think Sean Payton magic can fix Russell Wilson and the Broncos can be a thing?
I'm not going to get – okay, I think Russell Wilson can be fixed. I'm not going to give all the credit to Sean Payton, though.
Should be an interesting team next year, for sure, with that defense. We'll come back, golf recap as well from Kelley, how his bets did, and more on Super Bowl 57 and the National Football League on a special Monday morning edition, tradition around here, of a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years, and #2 among public universities for employability. ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.